Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about a case of intergalactic reincarnation. There's a little kid from Russia who claims to remember his past life on Mars. Now, this has been a big story in Russia for a long time, but in the West, it hasn't gotten as much attention. I think it's probably because the West just isn't as open to these spiritual things such as reincarnation or Eastern beliefs and philosophies. His name is Boriska, and he was born on January 11th, 1996, so he is not a little kid anymore. So what was really odd about him is that when he was only 15 days old, not months, days, he was able to hold up his head without any support. And his mom is actually a doctor and knew that that was unusual and pretty much impossible for a 15-day-old baby to do. And apparently he's supposed to be like a child genius. He was already speaking at 4 months old, and by age 1.5 he could read, draw, and paint. Now, his parents never taught him anything about space, but he would talk about outer space all the time. And he knew things that they were not teaching him about space, the planets, the stars, etc. Now, most little kids who have past life memories usually have them around 35 months. That seems to be the sweet spot, give or take 6 months or so. And that's around the time where Boriska did start to talk about being from Mars. They would even find him meditating alone in his room, and they thought he was communicating with some kind of outside source or whatever. And he would meditate till he was like in a trance or whatever. And for those of you who don't know that much about meditation, you can actually get into a trance. There are people, especially in the East, in East Asia, in that part of the world where they are much more spiritually in tune than us in America and Europe. They can go hours for meditating. Buddhist monks can meditate for like 12 hours at a time. It shows that he was very spiritually advanced. And some people who get really good at meditation say that they can travel with their spirits to other dimensions, other planets, and communicate with other beings in the other realm. So when Boriska was 7, he got a lot of attention in Russia because he was on a camping trip and there was a university professor there. And so Boriska told a group of these older people to sit down by a campfire and listen to him. And this is really the first time he told his story, if we want to call it that. And he totally entranced all of these people because he had such a large vocabulary for a 7-year-old, high levels of maturity. He basically told them the story of his past life and what had happened on Mars. Boriska claimed that he was from Mars. He claimed to be what he called a Martian. He said that Martians breathe carbon dioxide. They stop aging at age 35, so they're partially immortal. They could be killed by something external, but they will not die a natural death. He says that they are super tall. What's really interesting is that he claims that they are still on Mars today. And he says that this past life was a long time ago when Earth only had like one civilization called Lemuria. And I guess it's kind of similar to Atlantis. It was like a lost civilization that nobody knows about. Let me know if you want to see a video about Atlantis. If you want to see that, hit the like button because I want to make a video about that too. Now, he claimed that at that time, there was a full-blown society on Mars, like kind of like what we have now on Earth. That it was an advanced society, huge cities. So he claims that there are still some Mars people, if you want to call them that, who are still hanging out up there on Mars in the ruins of the civilization. Boriska claimed that the Martians tried to create a second sun with Jupiter. They tried to turn it into a second sun, and that's where the spot on Jupiter came from their failed attempt. Boriska said he was actually part of the Martian military and he would fly back and forth from Earth to Mars. He says that the Martian civilization had communications with other planets and galaxies, and still today, those that remain on Mars are still in communication with other civilizations in other galaxies. He said that he would fly to Earth in like triangle-looking spaceships, and it's interesting because a lot of UFO sightings say that they see triangle-shaped UFOs, so it kind of makes sense. He even talked about the Sphinx in Egypt, and he said that there are keys to life in the Sphinx, which is very interesting because there are people who think that there is a chamber of knowledge underneath the Sphinx. And if you have not watched my space and alien conspiracy video, I'll put a link right here. You need to go watch it because I actually talk a little bit about that. Back in the 60s, the Russians had a secret military expedition to Egypt to find it, and I kind of talk about secret findings a little bit that were unearthed. So check out my video because I talk all about that there. And Boriska said that behind the Sphinx's ear, there's some kind of button or switch or something that will open it up. And he says the secrets about everything, the truth about everything are in the Sphinx. He claimed that Earth was an advanced civilization back then, the Lemurians. And we did participate in the intergalactic community, but we kind of got detached from it and our civilization collapsed, and then we kind of evolved again into our civilization now. And he said that the atmosphere is so messed up on Mars that people can only survive by breathing carbon monoxide underground. So they live underground on Mars and they cannot come to Earth because they cannot breathe what we breathe. He told the professors scientific explanations for everything, and he said that the spaceships used plasma power to travel and ion power, and that if they had used gasoline, the fuel would have run out too fast. And he said that they had the ability to teleport and to time travel. And about time travel, check out my Mandela effect video. There are some people who think that time travelers might be responsible for that. So if you don't know what it is, just Check it out. He said that every single race of aliens have their own technology and innovations, and the types of technology that exist throughout the universe are very diverse, and there's just a multitude of highly advanced civilizations, and each use a different kind of energy source. And he said that what we're doing looks pretty archaic and barbaric. So this is Dr. John Brandenburg. He is a PhD and a plasma physicist, and he believes that life on Mars was eradicated by nuclear war. And he believes that a bunch of ancient civilizations that were super advanced are responsible for this. And he says that the composition of the soil and the color of the planet is because of nuclear fission on the planet. And there's also James Green, the NASA Director of Planetary Sciences, and he says that Mars is not the dry, arid planet that we thought of in the past. Liquid water has been found on Mars, according to him. And there's also John Brunsfeld, a 5-time space-flown astronaut, and he's the Associated Administrator Head of NASA, Science Mission Directive. He says, "We are going to Mars. Our journey to Mars is a science-led expedition right now. Someday I hope we'll be sending humans to the red planet to explore, and science will lead the way." And today's announcement of a fascinating result of current water on Mars is one of the reasons why I feel it is even more imperative that we send astrobiologists and planetary scientists to Mars to explore the question of, is there current life on Mars? He also said the more we observe Mars, the more information we're getting that it really is a fascinating planet. From the Curiosity rover, we know now that Mars was once a planet very much like Earth, with long salty seas, fresh water, probably snow-capped peaks and clouds, and a water cycle just like what we're studying here on Earth. Something has happened to Mars, it's lost its water. Now let's talk about some of the strange things that have been found on Mars by rovers. We all know the face on Mars, but there's also another one that's recently been found. Check this out. This looks like a whole head of something. There's also pyramids on Mars, and a place that looks like it has 3 pyramids and a Sphinx, which kind of makes sense if you think that aliens may have come and influenced the Egyptians. Look at this comparison. They look pretty much identical. I really think there was life on Mars. I think there probably still is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my playlist I got in the description, and come back next week for another video.